we know that open networking is not for everyone.
No.
How long it took?
It was a long decision process, but
Always, when you do data center refresh from a network architecture point of view, there's always bottlenecks and risk associated with it. You also need to find the best partner. And I think this is what is key into success, and specifically from an open networking point.
Hello, gentlemen. Today we are talking about how IP Nexia was transforming the infrastructure from critical VoIP and connectivity service, and how that whole journey from, let's say, traditional approach to the open networking been going. So before maybe we'll start, let's please introduce yourself briefly, maybe starting from you, Michel.
Thank you. My name is Michel Coric. I am the CEO of IP Nexia. IP Nexia is a small service provider located in Belgium, in Brussels. We are an ISP. We are also a voice over IP provider, also a mobile provider as an MVNO. But we also provide managed services or professional services to our customers. Professional services like managed hosting or security solutions. We are managing mainly B2B customers in the mid-size market, but also we have also corporate customers and customers in the public sectors. My role as a CEO for this project was to validate the principle and to convince all the stakeholders.
All right. Thank you, Michel. My name is Alexander Deca. My role in this project was lucky to work with Michel on this endeavor, and together also with STORDIS and Edgecore. I'm actually a chief network architect, deciding actually what was the decision-making process and looking at the architecture from a holistic point of view, and make a decision and provide Michel with some options to make an informed decision on what topic to go on.
Great. So thank you, Łukasz, for this opportunity, and it's a great pleasure to be here together with Michel and Alex. My name is Edgard, and I'm from Edgecore Networks. Edgecore is one of the largest manufacturer and networking solution provider in Taiwan. I'm handling business development activities in EMEA, and looking forward for this discussion.
Maybe just a few words from myself. My name is Łukasz Łukowski. I'm coming from STORDIS, and in that project, we are the guys who've been providing the hardware from more the logistics side, but we are also providing like a professional support on the selected SONiC distribution, which is, I would say, like a key part of today's meeting. So, Michel, what does IP Nexia and what kind of the services do you provide?
We provide mainly connectivity to our customers with more and more requests for high bandwidth connectivity. And of course, we provide voice over IP and UC services and UC solutions to begin to large companies or public sectors customers. We also provide mobile solutions, but those are really the three big or large topics that we cover as a business.
So, when we started, we've been chatting about the uptime and reliability. So, could you tell a bit more?
Well, I will be brief for this. When you provide voice over IP on unified communication services, uptime is of course crucial. It's by nature, and we have also some really crucial business in terms of importance of the voice or the UC or even just the data traffic for those customers. This is more and more normal to have an uptime which is now 100% related with DSLA. I'm going to say.
So what happens if, let's say, in theory, the service could go down?
Everything could happen. All the scenarios are possible, from firm requests from customers to, unfortunately, SLA, downtimes, penalties, discussions with some customers. We even had injunction from some politicians from the government when we had huge failures in the past. When you manage some specific traffic in public sector, uptime and potential problems related to incidents are a reality.
So as we are saying, it's better when something is working, it's better to do not touch, but still, you went to that journey. So what was the trigger behind, that you've been changing and upgrading the whole infrastructure?
Yeah, we are a small company in Belgium. We are what we can call an underdog, and we are the type of business not really allowed to wait the end of service, end of support, end of contract with some provider. And then as a service provider or an operator, we always have to anticipate the future, the next generation of technology, the future tech, the future solution. This is also for our customers a sign of confidence. We continue to think about our future and, of course, by the way, their future.
So what were the biggest limitation before? Because again, as I understanding, that was a migration. Migration, it means that always there was some starting point, yeah?
Yes, but the limitation for us, the main was the scalability, and with some vendor locking and insufficient port density, we're really unable to grow the business. That was that was our main issue.
So Alex, maybe question to you. What did you see when you first assessed the environment? I know that you've been taking like a crucial role in that project from the technical perspective.
Right. I mean, I know the customer already a long time, and I understood what they had today was really specifically also end-of-life hardware. There was a network refresh coming up, but it was not only the only project that was going on, because there is also a refresh of compute hardware.
Okay.
And like Michel already told you, it's the scalability that was actually limitation for now. And this is really something that we saw. It was, limitation of hardware, no support anymore. So we really needed to go. We needed to make a decision, want to continue with an existing vendor, of course, right? Or look at something completely different and to gain a little bit more control.
So speaking about the key risks and bottlenecks, did you face any?
We always, when you do data center refresh from a network architecture point of view, there's always bottlenecks and risk associated with it. And I think Michel already told you it's, we need to make sure that there is zero downtime, or at least, keep the downtime as minimum as possible. And this was one of the things that we saw was part of the migration to figure out, okay, how can we migrate from a legacy environment to something new? And also be ready for what's around the corner, and specifically also the requirements from the business side. But again, here the bottleneck really also contained there was no automation. It's a small scale provider, which means also we all know it's very difficult to find skilled people in this environment today. So which means also you cannot hire 20 engineers to do some manual stuff. So we needed to look at that as well, and it was one of the things that we wanted to tackle as well, to make sure that we do automation from day one.
Thank you. But Michel, you could stay with that traditional vendor or change the direction. So why consider something totally new? We know that open networking is not for everyone.
No, we know, but I started my career using IBM, which means mainframe, IS400, NCP, LU 6.2, and so on and so on. I think I know what vendor locking means because I'm coming from this world, and it's always the same logic applied for your infra, then for the infra that you manage. It's a smaller list of providers or vendors, non-compatibility between some of them, expensive maintenance, expensive support contracts, and so on and so on. That's always the same model. At a certain point, you have to think about, okay, do we have another model? Can we enter into something new? Can we break a little bit this model?
So I fully agree, but what gave you that confidence to trust this this new approach?
Strangely, or perhaps it's not what but who. Before trusting in a zero human touch solution or technology, I had first to trust a human, and of course backed up with some interesting readings and meetings. But all of this change won't have been possible without Alex Deca and his team. That's it's first a kind of human trust that started the project.
So what did you do so special that customer take that first crazy
Put some
step?
magic dust on top of it. No, but yeah, I mean, it's a project that actually started a couple of years ago when we started visiting. We went to San Jose together because we knew that something was ongoing. And
What year it was?
3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah,
Okay,
indeed.
okay.
3 years ago, so it would be like 2023, give or take. We went to San Jose and we had some interesting meetings set up, and one of them was actually act on Edgecore because it was on my to-do list to check them out because they do a lot of interesting stuff. And that's why actually we started looking into, and as Michel said, it's it's a human connection. Although we all talk about AI and we need to support all the AI loads, but it's something that we did for now. And then we created a business case for Michel to make a decision, and because of course Michel needs to answer to investors, shareholders, those kind of things. So which means he needs to be informed well. And we took the decision to go to this approach to make sure that we have a good approach between feature set, pricing, and the aspect of having a good support, which is you're not a number. I think this is really important.
So there are those key arguments, I would say, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Edgar, when moving away from traditional vendors, hardware is the key. So, and also from the other side, the biggest concern. So how did Edgecore support this transition? I know that it was also a quite exciting journey for you.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you, Łukasz. So as a human being, change has been very difficult to be accepted. And at Edgecore, when we are facing such inquiries, very similar from Michel company, our main role is really to remove this uncertainty as possible, as much as we can. And that's why we've been working together with Alex from day one in order to make sure that we understand the requirements. We've been involved very closely in building a lab, doing the validation, selecting the right operating system, making sure that the operating system meet the requirements that Michel been looking for. In addition, as well, we build this trust with this ecosystem together with the STORDIS and with Alex on bringing the topic in terms of supply chain, RMA, and this is all being delivered together with STORDIS and with Alex in order to give the same service and the same experience that IPNexia been receiving from the traditional vendor. So our main role, as has been mentioned, is to remove those kind of concerns and making sure that we are delivering even better experience that all our customers been receiving from other vendors.
Alex, back to you. In simple terms, what does open networking mean for this project?
Right. So technically, we all know what open networking means, and it's really important to understand that we wanted to take the approach that we wanted to be open on the hardware that we want to choose, and decoupling actually really the network operating system from top of it, but also provide you with flexibility with your choice of hardware. We don't want to have a monolithic system and having a vendor lock-in where they decide, okay, what are the orchestration tools that you can use? We all know each vendor has their own orchestration tool that they would like to push. It's something that we don't want.
And optics and everything.
Optics as well. We want to have the freedom of choice to make sure, because price is always going to be also a point of discussion, whether you're a smaller company or a bigger company. And this is something that we really took by heart, is actually, okay, what can we do as an organization to support IPNexia and specifically Michel for his end customers, right? And this is really something where we think about open networking that is really valuable for customers like this.
Michel, from your perspective, what made this model attractive?
For me, the attractiveness of the model was mainly the scalability. Scalability definitely the main reason, but from an IPNexia perspective, being also ready for a very near future, we wanted to have an infra easy to deploy, an infra model easy to deploy, easy to extend or to expand, and potentially also easy to replicate.
Got you, thank you. Edgard, from the hardware perspective, what does it actually take to make open networking production ready? You mentioned about the proof of concept, but what is the role of Edgecore in that process?
Okay, so open networking requires the three key elements. The first one is solid hardware built on a proven merchant silicon. Second, deep integration with the network operating system. And third, an ecosystem, an operational model who can bring and deliver this trust and this expertise to the market. At Edgecore, we are offering and we design and manufacture platforms that are validated for data center workloads. We are introducing new terminal technologies. We have a very wide portfolio for AI and data center infrastructure. In addition, on the integration side, we are working with multiple operating systems, multiple NOS vendors, in order to provide this kind of a flexibility and the choice to customers in order to select the right option that perfectly match what they need. And third, it's more about the ecosystem on how we are partnering with experts, especially with Alex and his team, and with STORDIS in order to deliver this kind of a full and end-to-end experience to our customers. So hardware, operating system, and a great supply chain with expertise on the delivery. So this is our key elements that on how we deliver our solution to the market.
Thank you. Michel, now questions, more from, let's say, business perspective. So what changed after deployment?
From a business point of view, and after deployment, I'm going to say it's the reliability. The automation also, those are key elements for us. We feel more confident now in our infrastructure. We feel for us, we really feel the start of a new era. It's a new period of business, and we think that we have the ground, not the ground, the foundation. We have the foundations to start and to build a new type of business.
You've been saying about the reliability, but how about, is that really something which is changing and scaling your business?
Yes, for sure. First, regarding the reliability, we had no downtime during the implementation, and during the implementation of this new infra, and no incidents since then. It means a lot for IPNexia, but also for customers.
In the chipsets.
That's fundamental for us.
You are already in production.
Yes.
So, how do you feel now, comparing that with how it was before?
But that's, if we think, we should first think about the scaling of our business, because we should discuss about a little bit about this, and we know that we are now ready for new projects, like AI projects, for instance, or some security projects related to voice or IP or unified communication project. This is key for us, and that's this can push really, and this can scale a little bit of our business. That's the main part. because you are speaking about operations now. But how does it feel now compared to before? But we have no more capacity, that's for sure. More capacity to interconnect. We were a little bit blocked there. We are more confident to answer hungry bandwidth customers also, which is one of our reality. We are also much more confident to implement complex data and VoIP project within our infra. That's the main comparison before and after.
And do you feel that you have more control, like in the past?
First, it's easier to operate. Let's say that. It looks, in fact, for me, from a business perspective, easier to operate this new infra. Some of our senior engineers or consultants have been able to reorient themselves, to other complex projects or topic. And for us, the management of our infra is no more a concern. Regarding the control. If control, for me as a CEO, if control means understanding our infrastructure or new infrastructure and being able to explain it and or to sell it or to sell our new data center model to customers, then yes, I am more and more in control. Yeah.
So, I am always saying, and my team know me that well, that it is just the beginning. So what next?
What's next? We are a good trend. IPNexia is in a good trend since a couple of years now, and would like now to accelerate our growth. That's already a reality now during the first quarter. But our growth in a cybersecurity project mainly, AI also a project. We have an Elasticsearch project with some AI tools to deploy within IPNexia, but also for some of our customers.
How long that whole process took of that migration? So you both been flying to US, you starting investigating and so on, and we are in 2026. Well, so more or less. How long it took?
It was a long decision process, but.
Would you take the same decision again?
Yes. Yes, because I'm fully confident. For our future with IPNexia, with Alex Deca and his team, and with Edgecore and STORDIS support there in his back. Yes, if the same decision, yes, for sure.
Alex, do you see this model could work also for the other customers?
100%. I think I think there is a huge opportunity for customers that don't have this really huge need for infrastructure. I'm not talking about hyperscalers, but this model that we implemented for IPNexia is reproducible, and you can take this model and introduce that for different type of customers. It's all about. Like I said, if you have a hyperscaler, there is a huge market for that. But there is also this segment where there is customers that have limited availability from a data center perspective, but they need to have the bandwidth available, right? And I think this is the model that we're looking at, and not only for IPNexia, but also for customers of IPNexia, because as Michel explained, they're offering managed services as well. And there is some opportunities there as well for their end customers to look at holistically at different data center opportunities and how they can actually help those customers also implement something which is actually now proven because IPNexia is actually running this in production.
Yeah, perfect. So gentlemen, maybe one sentence, biggest lesson. Who wanted to start?
A drastic change needs some time to process, to decide. But once decided, you have to support it unconditionally. and especially if it's a good decision. In fact, that's I believe that we took the good decision.
Yeah. Edgar, for you.
Well, we all agree that open networking gives flexibility and control. The biggest lesson is that the customers who succeed are the one who plan for that. They invest in their team and they invest in the right partnership. So taking the lab phase very seriously, validate the hardware, validate the operating system, pushing this into production, this is a key to lead to a success.
And Alex?
Indeed, I think I agree with what Edgar is saying, and specifically also you need to do your research, right? I think, but not only that, you also need to find the best partner. And I think this is what is key into success, and specifically from an open networking point. We have a strong partner, which is Edgecore for the hardware. We have STORDIS that can help us when things go south, and knock on wood, let's hope we don't need it, but if we need it, we can rely on the partners, and I think that's a key lesson.
I would say, it is like with most of the best business, it's between the people, not between the companies. Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
100%.
Edgar, from your perspective, what does this project represent moving forward?
So for us, this project is a strong validation of where the industry is going. And going forward, it represents the kind of partnership we want to build more with our partners and customers. It is not a transactional, it is long-term partnership and collaboration. We see this as a foundation for what comes next: higher port speed, better technology, new AI solution. The customers who adopt open networking now are positioning themselves to move faster than the others. Our role is to keep delivering the hardware, the partnership, and the support that make those next steps straightforward.
I would say that this is a great example showing the open networking in real life, especially that it was a transition from more, let's say, legacy type of the environment to open. It is also showing how the open networking and disaggregation could be perfectly aggregated again and be production ready. So I would like to really thank you for your time. We will also go with extra session a little bit deeper to the details with Alex. So stay tuned. You will see it here or there. The guys will add it. And once again, thank you and see you around.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.